Are you an established small business owner or aspiring entrepreneur? Would you like professional advice to help your business grow and succeed? Well, look no further. The Virgin Islands Small Business Development Center is the territory's #1 resource to move your business forward. Enjoy no-cost advising, low-cost training, and technical assistance from experts in both the public and private sectors. The VISBDC is nationally accredited and sustained by the University of the Virgin Islands and the U.S. Small Business Administration. Visit us at our locations on St. Thomas, St. John, or St. Croix, and follow us on social media at VISBDC. For easy access to all our training and networking events, be sure to join our newsletter and download the VISBDC app. The Virgin Islands Small Business Development Center, here to help your business start, grow, and succeed.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the VISBDC's hosting of Surety Bonding 101 with the SBA. Today's session will educate participants on strategies to maximize bonding capacity. Attendees will get an overview of the common financial underwriting factors used by bonding companies. Today's lead presenter is Wayne Huddleston, SBA USVI Senior Area Manager of the PR and USVI SBA District Office. Here's a friendly reminder to place your questions in the chat, and they will be addressed by the presenting team either directly in the chat or later during a question and answer segment. A copy of today's presentation will be attached to the post-survey email sent after today's live event. We encourage you to take a few minutes after this training to fill out that survey that lets us know how we're doing. So without further ado, Wayne, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Sharika. Good morning, everyone. This will be a relatively brief presentation on surety bonding, and especially the SBA guarantee with surety bonding that helps you as business owners secure bonds for your projects. We're going to talk a little bit about what bonds are, how to qualify for them, and how to leverage our program to get what you need. I'm going to start with just a short video that kind of quickly provides a short kind of overview presentation of it. And unfortunately, it looks like this video is not working, so I'm not going to start with this video. But I'm going to cover everything that was in the video anyway. So essentially, the surety bond program is really mostly used in construction industries, especially to perform on contracts and federal contracts. Local contracts and federal contracts. The vast majority of contracts here in the Virgin Islands anyway lately have been through the territorial level, even though a lot of them are federally funded. And then there are sometimes contracts at the federal level to work at National Guard facilities or some other type of facilities as well. And that's where the surety bond program comes in. These contracts frequently require bonding to secure or assure the agency who has put out the bid or request for proposals that you can complete that contract and you have some financial backing on it. We work at SBA, our Office of Surety Bond Guarantees works with surety agents and other companies nationwide to help secure bonds, and we provide them an 80 to 90% guarantee, which helps them reduce a little bit some of the risk and able to provide that bond more easily to a small business owner. How's it work for you? I mean, the main thing is that it enables you to secure a bond where you may have had difficulty otherwise obtaining it. And it provides a little bit of benefits to you as a business. It helps you grow your business. It increases the number and the scope of opportunities that are out there for you. And it has a lot of flexible requirements in being able to secure that bond. Now, there still are requirements to securing any bond, even if it's with our guarantee. All bonding agents and companies are going to be looking at similar things. They're going to be looking at your capacity to perform on the contract for which you're trying to secure the bond for. If this is your first time ever bidding on that kind of contract, or it's a contract that is way out of the scope of something you've ever done before, then it's really hard to prove that capacity. But if it is a project that you do in the private sector routinely, it's of the size that is at least in what you normally do, or at least relatively close to what you normally do, and you've shown in the past that you have the ability and the expertise to perform on that type of project, that's what the bonding agent is going to be looking for. They just want to see that you have the ability to do that if they're going to guarantee to the government entity that has the contract that, yes, you will do it. And if you don't, they're going to be on the hook to reimburse that entity. So they want to make sure that you can and you have that expertise. They want to make sure that you have some profitability. This is the most frequent reason contracts go under and someone fails to complete a contract is that they run out of money. They don't have a cushion. They don't have financial statements to show maybe they have other projects with other revenue coming in. So if there's any type of hiccup or something like that, they can cover it and keep going. The biggest issue in the past is just people not managing their finances sufficiently during a contract, and then they're unable to continue, and then they walk away because they don't have the money to pay their employees. So they want to see your financial statements. And then finally, they want to see that you are a person and your business has a good reputation, your person a good character, and your business has a good reputation, that you've done business in the past, you haven't walked away from projects, you have a decent credit history, and you have a good reputation in the community. So those still must be in place. Just because we're offering a guarantee to bonding agents doesn't mean they will automatically give that bond. You still have to meet some basic qualifying parameters to secure it. Now, this is a simplified example, but this is how our bond helps in a project. So typically, they are based on the amount of working capital you have. As I mentioned before, a bonding agent wants to see that you have the capital and the financial statements on hand to show that you can perform. And it is typically your bond amount is based on not only the project, but also the amount of working capital you have on hand. In the traditional market, it's a 10 times factor. So if you have $100,000 of working capital, typical bonding agent is going to say that you can qualify for up to $1 million of a surety bond. If the project is bigger than that, then you're going to have to come up with more working capital. With these SBA's guarantee program, we take a significant amount of guarantee, or we take a significant amount of risk away from that bonding agent, and we put it on SBA, and we back that project. And that enables them to provide up to double the bond that they would otherwise provide. So in the same example, if you had $100,000 of working capital, you could qualify for up to a $2 million surety bond if that's what's needed for your project. We also count the unused portion of bank lines and credit. So you may, let's say you only have $50,000 worth of cash in the bank, but your bank is providing another $50,000 in a line of credit. We will count that as working capital for the purpose of calculating the amount of bonding that you'd be able to receive. Some other benefits to this is it requires lower working capital. As I mentioned, if you have that credit, you don't have to provide as much working capital. And the guarantee is going to be larger with projects with internal financial statements. So a lot of, without a guarantee, a lot of bonding agents don't rely on internal financial statements, but our guarantee program allows them to do that. It's a pretty easy to use program. And at the end of this, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you the website and how you can connect with bonding agents. The process is pretty fast for our underwriting agents. We have two programs that they can work under: a prior approval program, which delivers a decision in 2 days, that our certified SBA surety bond partners use. Now, this is not just for anybody. They have to be a certified SBA surety bond provider. And then there's quick app decisions for bonds that are $500,000 or less. We can receive, or we can get decisions within 24 hours, typically, on those types of bond requests. And there are a variety of bond types and amounts. There's bid bonds, there's performance bonds, there's payment bonds, and there's maintenance bonds. For each government and private sector contract, we can go up under the SBA Surety Bond Guarantee Program. We can guarantee up to the size of $9 million. For each direct federal contract, the limit is $14 million. So just for your awareness, if you're applying for that. To qualify for it, these are surety bond guarantees are not for large businesses. The vast majority of businesses here in Virgin Islands are going to be small anyway. But just in case there's any type of confusion, you should look at our size standards. For construction firms and supply firms, we look at annual revenue and the number of employees for manufacturers. There are other requirements. So even if you meet the SBA size standards, you still must be current on any public debts. It's okay to have public debts, but you can't have defaulted on them, or you can't have gone into just default and have it paid on those debts or taxes in some way. And you must pass basic underwriting standards through an evaluation of financial statements through the underwriter. And as I mentioned before, I've mentioned some general categories, but these are some more specific things. You must possess good character. You can't have things in your background that show that you are not someone who will follow through on your word, or you run away on projects in the past. It needs to be a bond that you're unable to obtain elsewhere. So if you're unable to get bonds easily, then this program is not for you. But if you have difficulty, which just about anyone in the Virgin Islands, there's a very limited number of bond providers. It's very difficult oftentimes. You should be able to qualify for our program. It must be for a U.S.-based business and a for-profit business. It's not for a nonprofit. And it's for legal resident owners of the business, not for people who own a business or a foreign entity that owns a business. It must be eligible to do business with the federal government and not be involved in a current bankruptcy proceeding. There are some fees with even our surety bond guarantee. We charge a 0.6% of the contract amount, which is paid to SBA for the guarantee. That is typically lumped into the arrangement between the agency, the surety bond agency, and the business that is receiving the bond. It's a relatively small fee, but that's required. That's just something that when Congress set up this program, they said that this is what the charge is going to be. I'm sorry, and then there is going to be a small premium that is charged by the surety company. We do set some limits so they're not putting their premium way out of market standards or market tradition or normal market parameters for those fees, but you will have to pay those. We have a ton of partners who do this. Here's some. These are just all over the country. What I'd like to focus, though, on is the ones that specifically serve the Virgin Islands. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to escape out of the presentation for a moment. I'm going to take you to a website to show you how to find the agents really easily. So let's see, we'll pull this up. So if you pulled up Google or your website, and you may not remember the exact URL for this, but if you just typed in SBA Surety Bond Program, type it into Google, and I just hit something and messed it up, but here it is. So you should be careful. Typically, the first things that come up are not the SBA website. If it has a .com, you can be assured that's not SBA in any way. So you may need to scroll down. The second one here is SBA's, and it says sba.gov, so you can be assured that that's us. Just click on that. You'll be provided an overview of how the surety bond program works, what a surety bond is, how it works, eligibility, all sorts of things that I have just covered here in this presentation. But you scroll down, the key is right here, finding a surety bond agency. It says in your state, but they mean in your state or territory. You'll be taken to this site right here, and you'll simply just need to filter by the U.S. Virgin Islands or wherever you are if you're doing a project outside the Virgin Islands. The last one on the list is us. Just click it, hit filter, and then you'll be provided for right now. Each of these agencies have said that they will do surety bonds within the Virgin Islands. Now, every once in a while, we do get surety bond companies who just pick every state and territory in the country. And then I've heard where a business calls them to try to secure a surety bond, and then they'll say, oh, no, we actually don't serve the Virgin Islands. If you ever encounter something like that, please just shoot me an email. About once a year, or maybe twice a year, I'll call these surety bond agents just to make sure that they are providing bonds to the Virgin Islands. If they tell me no, then I make sure they have themselves removed from this list. But every once in a while, one will just not be thinking about the Virgin Islands, and they'll select the entire country, and then they'll realize, oh, they actually don't. I know Apex Bonding does. And I know performance bonding has. Acrisure is fairly new, so I'm not sure about them. Looks like they have 2 links here on this, but you can be sure at least some of them will. And you can contact different ones at the same time and just see who is going to respond to you faster. So, all right. Well, that's it for my presentation. I will open it up to any questions you may have about bonding or SBA's guarantee program for bonding, or really, if you have any questions about SBA, just let me know. This topic is relatively short today. Be happy to answer anything outside the topic as well.
Hi, Wayne. Thank you for that presentation. We do have a few questions in the chat. Here's one. What types of surety bonds are most commonly required for residential versus commercial projects in the Virgin Islands?
The surety bonds don't really are not typically needed for residential projects. They're typically for commercial, government-related contracts and construction. And they can vary, but mostly it's a performance bond. The contract provider is looking for a performance bond to get those done. So that's the most frequent.
Thank you for that. Are there specific licensing or bonding requirements from the Virgin Islands Department of Licensing and Consumer Affairs? What documentation must the business submit to apply for a surety bond? So that's 2 different questions.
So I'm not sure of the licensing requirements. So to DLCA, the Department of Licensing and Consumer Affairs, does not have a bonding specific licensing requirement. They just have a licensing requirement to operate in the territory. So if you're going to perform on a contract for the territorial government, which many of them are, they're going to require that you are licensed in the territory to work or to perform on that contract. It doesn't have anything really to do with bonding. Now, the agent will require documents to be approved for the bond, and those are primarily financial statements and to show that you are an owner of the business. So you will need to show some where you're licensed, what's going on, to show that you're not a foreign-owned entity, that you own the business and you're American-owned, and that you have the financial statements to help them assess and do the underwriting on your capacity to perform on that bond, and that you have the working capital they need to assess to determine the exact amount.
Thank you for that. How long does the approval process typically takes for an application to bond issuance, I'm sorry?
It typically takes a couple of days. Like I said, if it's a smaller bond in the presentation, it can be shorter. It can be a day, but typically 2-3 days, and you have a decision.
Thank you. Are there expedited options if a contract is awarded unexpectedly?
I'm sorry, what was that? Go ahead.
Are there expedited options if a contract is awarded unexpectedly?
Faster than no, not faster than 2 days or 1 day, no.
How is the premium for a surety bond calculated, and what affects the cost?
The premium is typically a percentage, just like the fee that, as I mentioned earlier, it's a 0.6% fee on the total amount of the bond. So what affects the cost is the total amount of the bond approved.
Okay. Does a company's credit score or financial history influence bond eligibility?
Yes. So if a company has a very poor credit score, or if it's like a sole proprietor and that sole proprietor has a very poor credit score, then yes, that could affect the ability to get approved for that bond. So you want to make sure you have a decent credit score, either for your business or for yourself, or both.
All righty, and final question. Are there any additional fees or renewal requirements for maintaining a bond?
No. It's pretty straightforward. You receive the bond and there's a fee for that. And the bond is tied to a particular project. So if you need another bond, it would be a different assessment for a different project. So it would not be like a renewal fee or anything. It would just be it would just be another bond and the fee that goes along with it.
So I do believe we have a few comments from Marco. If you want to unmute and ask directly, I think he had some comments.
Hi, good morning, good morning. Sorry, I'm sitting outside. I got a little construction going on next door to me, and I have some fractured ribs right now, but I seem to know a lot about these bonds, and I do have a unique business set up, and I've always had a vision and a passion and a dream to do big construction projects, and I've been doing a lot of learning on my own, and I'm just like trying to get through the right channels to talk to the right people and stuff like that so I can start moving my business forward. I've been coming out to the Virgin Islands for 15 years now, back and forth between my hometown and back out to the Virgin Islands. And I'm trying to make the Virgin Islands more of a permanent place for myself. But due to the circumstances, I'm always coming back and forth. But I want to start working on my business down there. So I'm hoping that maybe I could start maybe getting in contact with some people down there, and that would be great.
Yeah. Marco, I would highly recommend, if you haven't already made an appointment to talk with the people at the SBDC. That's what they're here for. Just, they connect you with people. They can help you work through any regulatory issues or anything that you have that may be inhibiting your ability to grow your business down here in the Virgin Islands. They can provide a lot of help.
Okay. Yeah, I just started doing this like maybe a week or two ago, and I started setting up some appointments, and then I had a little injury. I fractured my hip, ribs, and
Jeez.
yeah. So I spent a couple days in the hospital, and I'm just getting back home and stuff like that. So I was trying to just catch up back on things, and I'm glad I didn't miss this webinar because then I would have had to wait longer for things, and I keep getting stonewalled and delayed with stuff. But I'm very happy to be here, and I just clicked on that link, and I'll try and set up another appointment just in case I didn't set one up, and look forward to speaking to somebody.
Well, I'm glad you didn't wait. And yeah, these you don't have to wait for these presentations. You can at any time, and I believe Sharik has put a link for advising. Anytime, just reach out to SBDC, set up an appointment. You can meet with them on Zoom, meet with them in person, whatever works. And they you can dive into more details about what you're specifically trying to do and how they can help.
All right, great. Thank you so much. Thank you.
No problem.
Alrighty. So we do have a few more questions in the chat, Wayne. Can you explain how the SBA Surety Bond Guarantee Program works and how it can benefit small businesses in the Virgin Islands?
Yeah, I mean, that was basically what I did in the presentation. So, the Surety Bond program is our guarantee program for surety bond agents. We provide, much like we do for loans, we provide a guarantee that enables them to increase the amount of bonding that they can provide on certain projects, provides a lot of benefits to small business owners. If they're trying to bid on a project and in a traditional market, they're unable to get the amount of bonding needed, our guarantee program can help increase that amount and reduce risk for the agents, and helps them out. So,
Thank you for that. What contracts qualify under the SBA program and how do we start an application?
any contract that requires bonding. And it can be performance bond, payment bonds, what have you. There's a whole list of contracts that may require a specific kind of bonding. And as I walk through at the website, you don't necessarily apply directly with SBA. You apply through the surety bond agent. So if you're trying to get a contract in the Virgin Islands, go to our website, pull up the surety bond agent list that we have, and there's a name and email and phone number for each one of those. I recommend reaching out to them. They'll send you an application to start the process of evaluating.
Thank you for that. If a claim is made against the bond, what is the process and potential impact on a business?
Well, a claim against the bond is for the agent. So what that would mean is that the business did not perform on the contract. And so the impact on the business, the claim on the bond doesn't necessarily impact the business. It's what that means. If there's a claim on the bond, that means the business didn't perform and it's not going to get paid and all that. And so the business is kind of, by that standpoint, is kind of out of the picture. The claim is with the agent. And so the agent would have to make that payment. And then this all happens behind the scenes. SBA will help support that agent in that process. But all that process has no impact on the business because that's pretty much means the business screwed up in a major way and is probably bankrupt or some other issue has already happened to the business.
Thank you. And the final question is, are there best practices for avoiding claims and maintaining a strong bonding reputation?
Sure, yeah, and it's just basically any best practice to be a successful business. So, first, you want to be truthful and honest in all the financial statements and all the information that you provide the contractor and bonding agents. You want to be completely above board, even if there's information that you think is negative about your business. You want to make sure you provide it and are honest in all your dealings, and then that you just do good business practices, that you hire good people, that you show up and work the project as you say you're going to work it, and those types of things. So those are ways to avoid, having a lowered reputation because you couldn't perform on a contract. So.
All right, thank you for that, Wayne. I don't believe we have any more questions at this time. So I'll go ahead and share some information with the audience. The SBDC has so much more in store for USVI small businesses. You can visit our website at www.vispdc.org. We encourage you to download the VI SBDC app on your mobile device from the appropriate app store. Like and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Google Business. And you can subscribe to the VI SBDC YouTube channel for new uploads of our on-demand webinars. And so here we have listed a few webinars that are coming up. Tomorrow we have Sales Forecasting Fundamentals, Building Your Small Business Prediction Playbook. That starts at 11 a.m. and the instructor is VI SBDC advisor Daryl Edwards, and he will return on Friday, July 25th, and he is presenting Financial Statements 101, Understanding the Big Three. We have Wayne back again on August 19th. He's going to be presenting how to apply and qualify for an SBA loan. On August 22nd, we're focusing on customer service. And at 11 a.m., the presentation will be Small Business, Big Service, Crafting Unforgettable Customer Service Experiences. On August 26th, we have Wayne back again. He's going to be presenting and learning about SBA resources to help your business start, grow, and succeed. On October 8th, we have a marketing webinar that's going to be taught by VI SBDC Liza McDoulas. She's going to be presenting how to develop and maintain a strong brand, keeping your small business relevant. And then we have SBDC advisor Celia Kalusek. She's going to be presenting an AI series. On October 13th, she's going to focus on the intro to AI and the business life wheel. On October 20th, she's going to focus on AI in financials and operations and strategy. On the 27th, she's going to focus on AI in marketing, sales, and customer experience. On November 3rd, she's going to focus on AI tools for team management, technology, and work-life balance. And we have Liza, SBDC advisor Liza, back on October 22nd. She's going to be doing the importance of creative advertising and marketing with a focus on smart spending for small business marketing out of the box. So we encourage you to go ahead and register for all of those webinars that we have coming up, and more will be added to the training calendar. I see comments thanking you, Wayne, for answering all of those questions. So we don't have any more questions at this time. I just want to say we encourage you to check your email after this live event, fill out the survey, let us know how we're doing. And we thank you for your time and attendance today on behalf of the entire VI SBDC network. Wayne, it's always a pleasure collaborating with the SBA and these initiatives. So Wayne, do you have any closing comments?
No, that's it. Thank you.
All right, everyone, enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.